Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex and we are standing outside Stamford Bridge after a win, a 2-0 win, a 2-0 win against Sheffield United. I'm here with Dan.
Good to be back.
Fathur as well. Yeah. Always a pleasure, boys. Always a pleasure. Was it a pleasure to watch that match?
Not a chance. I can't be happy about that game today. I've got to tell you, I'm not happy with Poch. I'm struggling to watch Pochettino at the moment. Understand what he's trying to do with the team. I can't understand the identity that he's trying to put on the team. It doesn't look like the Spurs team he had. It doesn't look like the PSG team he had. I'm so confused. Is it because the ability of our players just isn't good enough? That's what I'm starting to think. So, not a pleasure today. No, absolutely dismal first half. Second half, obvious improvement. 3 points. That's all we can take from today. There's nothing else to write home about. If Cole Palmer don't turn up in a game, Chelsea aren't going to turn up this season. That's my biggest fear.
100%. It's a really interesting point you make, especially about Pochettino.
Yeah.
Because I have had so many conversations about this, and I'm like, well, look, and people say, oh, Southampton didn't win anything, Tottenham didn't win anything, but they played good football, mate. And we're not doing that. So that does go in terms of the argument that the players might not be good enough. And then people come up to me and they say, but we spent all this money. We spent all this money on potential. You can't guarantee anything with potential.
I was sat there at half-time just kind of going through the team. And if you look at the players that have won anything, we're looking at Thiago Silva and Enzo Fernandez, maybe the only two winners in the side. Everyone else has come from a mediocre team.
And Sterling.
Oh, sorry, Sterling. Forgot about Sterling. But everyone else, pretty much, has come from a mediocre team that's never won anything. We got a load of Brighton players in there. We got Mudryk coming from Shakhtar. I mean, fair enough, they played Champions League football, but he barely played any games. Half the team that goes out there doesn't actually know how to put together back-to-back wins in a league and build confidence and start to win trophies and stuff. This team just don't have it. I mean, Sterling probably forgot what winning tastes like. Like, he hasn't won in ages, and he looks half the player he was at City. I think he always does better off the right. I think it actually simplifies his game, and he always tends to put something in the stat bag. You know, it come away with an assist or a goal when he comes off the right. On the left, it is so predictable. I'm not sure that his future at Chelsea lies on the left, to be honest with you. I think maybe that's where Cundy goes. Does he go up front? That's a whole different one as well today. I really thought he'd get some minutes. He warmed up all second half. Poch don't even bring him on. He brought on Enzo at 1-0, I think, to solidify things. What's that about? Like, just go and kill that game off and give everyone a bit of confidence, because we've got Newcastle midweek, and if we turn up like we did first half, we ain't got a chance against Newcastle. Even though they look tired and stuff, they're going to put Fulham away today, and Fulham are on much better form than us. I think the Champions League is a step too far for Newcastle right now. Great night in Paris, but they'll turn up against us midweek on Tuesday, and I'm concerned. And I'm concerned what Pochettino does during the week. Like, how does it get to the start of this game and the team don't look like they know what they're doing? Caicedo spent the whole first half isolated on his own, no movement in front of him, and he can't put a pass together that's longer than 10 yards. I'll tell you that right now. 5-yard passes is his game, breaking down the play, winning the ball. If he has to be the playmaker, it's just not him. And for that amount of money, you'd think you'd get both. So I'm just so concerned with what Poch is doing and his tactics, mate, to be honest with you. I just don't see a clear vision. And I don't know what that means for the future of Chelsea under Pochettino, because when does that start happening? Does it happen when he buys a couple more players for 100 million? Or does it happen that he's a good enough coach and he transforms the squad that he's got right now?
That's the magic question, isn't it? I mean, Father, do you agree with what Dan's saying?
Yeah, I fully agree there. And the fact that we have to rely on individual brilliance from Cole Palmer as well. And you got Jackson up top, who's got 3 offsides in the first half. Apparently he scored a goal. It's just said it's all about our team. It's just like, I think the chemistry isn't there yet from ourselves, and the fact that we're still kind of inconsistent in some ways, you know. Back-to-back home wins is great to build that massive confidence going to Tuesday, but on the biggest scheme of things, it's still a bit worrying that we cannot kill this team off, especially in the first half. We've had ample chances, but I feel like there's no attacking pattern in the first half a bit, and there was a bit of problem in terms of the final third finishing in some ways as well, and that's where I feel kind of worried going into the next game onwards. The consistency itself, that, you know, it still wasn't there yet, but at the moment we just got to get that results going, you know, and get that momentum going.
I mean, I'm just glad that we stopped the bad run, because for me, if we lost this game, I still think you need to back Poch, because we could have a long conversation about this. I've spoken about this many times. For me, there's not a better manager at the moment who can do what needs to be done. And also, you're going back to square one from last season. So what? You've done a 2-year process. You still haven't got a manager settled.
Yeah.
So for me, that's very poor in the ownership sense. You've got to give a manager time, just like you will with some players. And some people think that that's really silly. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah.
But you can only work with what you have. And what Pochettino has is potential, which means that you have to unlock it, and it's not going to unlock straight away. So the real question is, how long is it going to take him to unlock the potential of this Chelsea team? And where do you think we can go?
It's a $1 million question as well. I really don't know where some of these players, the likes of Enzo, Mudryk, I don't know when they can unlock their potential. I don't have a specific time frame. Let's say we need to unlock them by the time we get to the season because we have to win some trophies. No, it's going to take a lot of process, and the fact that it's kind of worrying me a lot because our fan base standards should be up here. But at the moment, we're in the mid-table.
There's Egbali. Egbali over there.
He looks like a mafia there.
There he is, man like Egbali. Right, let's keep going.
I wonder what he's thinking there. What he's thinking actually about this team at the moment. Do I think that we need to go in the window, kind of changing things, get some already made players like you said last week at Everton? This is what I was discussing with you so far last week.
I'll be honest with you. I've backed this ownership, but if we don't get some ready-made players in January, I have a serious problem because you can only back Pochettino so far because we were here last year. We don't need to go into it. No. But if you don't have the players, then it is an ownership problem. I'm not saying that they're a problem right now. But it's getting to the stage where if this is the only team we can beat, fucking Sheffield, mate. Yeah. It's embarrassing, Father. It's depressing.
It's a £1 billion as well, and we have against Sheffield United. It's a no-brainer. We have to beat them, but to beat them in a hard way, especially in the first half alone, and then second half we turned up. It just doesn't feel right for me. And not only recruitment as well, but also you have to look at on the tactics on the pitch as well. Like he said, the first half was a bit dull. I felt asleep the whole first half, to be honest with you. Second half we turned up somehow, and that's where I feel like we're going to have some sort of an issue up against Wolves, up against Crystal Palace, and then Luton. Don't forget, on Tuesday we got Newcastle. Bear in mind, they just lost Joe Linton. That's 12 players total they're going to be missing. So technically, they're going to put a C team against us, let alone D team.
Yeah, but they're the type of teams we've struggled against. Your Fulham, your Crystal Palace, Luton, whoever we've got coming up. We've struggled. Our last clean sheet at home was against Fulham. That was ages ago. We literally haven't had a clean sheet in the league until today. So to get that is a big boost. We've got to build on that. But these are the games we've struggled in. We have struggled against teams that we should never be struggling as Chelsea Football Club. And I'll tell you what, as Egbali's walking past, I'll tell you what he's thinking. Where's my £1 billion gone? Because we've invested nearly £1 billion and it is not showing up. Like you said, we bought potential. Yes, we bought potential. When does that unlock? Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think half of them players will ever unlock. And I think we'll offload them before we ever see them produce for Chelsea. I think Madueke's already on that list. I think he'll be gone, whether it's a loan deal or not. We spent 20-30 million on loads of young kids as well who aren't even close to the team at the moment. It's just the shambles. I am concerned about where it goes. I know you're saying about Poch and we need to give him time, and we do. I think if we sack him right now, we're back to square one, like you said, and we're just restarting, and it's the same problems, and we still got a team that aren't good enough. We have to give both of them time to gel, and if we get to the end of the season, we'll be able to see what players are good enough for Chelsea, who's turning up consistently, who isn't. Look, Cole Palmer comes in, you can already see how many players aren't at a level that wasn't even good enough to get into Manchester City's team. Right, so that's how far off we are from the top of the Premier League or thereabouts. Cole Palmer's like the level of Manchester City's sub-bench. So how do we get the rest of the team there? Well, it isn't through buying potential, it's through buying proven players that come in and do a job straight away. I'm scared about how much pressure's on Cundy. I think the fact he's not even got a minute today, if he starts against Newcastle or gets a long game on a Tuesday night that's cold, it's just asking for another injury. I think he never had injuries, and he's already had the same injury twice since he got it the first time round. So it's a difficult one, but January, we already spent $1 billion, but we have to get busy again in the market. But this time, it can't be the same profile player that we've already signed.
Do you think it's justified for Pochettino to ask for more players?
100%. And I don't care how much they cost. They just need to be proven players. If we're going out and we go and buy a goal scorer that costs 30 million from another league, like say you went and bought Taremi, right, from Porto, the guy just scores goals, he's not going to cost 100 million. And someone like that would do us a job for a small amount of time, like we did with Giroud. It's a stopgap to see what we can bring in and who else is going to mould into the team. I'm not saying let's go and get Taremi, but that sort of level of striker who competes on a European level and just scores goals. Remember that bicycle kick he scored against us all that years ago in Porto? So
Jason Cundy.
Cundy! How you doing?
We'll see if he wants to say a word.
That'd be great.
But yeah.
What a man. But yeah, honestly, I'm concerned. Pochettino has every right to ask for players. I think what it is with Poch, he came in at the start of the season, he gave it the big one and he said, we're here to win, we're Chelsea, this is our level. And now he's coming out after games and he sounds like Potter. I think what happens is they see the level of the team in training and they go, I can't give the fans false hope here. They're just not good enough. And I think that's it. I think half the players on the team at the moment aren't good enough. And some players are slowly improving and becoming more promising. So, yeah. See you later, mate. So yeah, look, it's a tough one at Chelsea at the moment, but we just got to be happy with the 3 points, and it's the road to 40.
That's all we can be happy about today.
Horrible way to have to look at Chelsea Football Club, innit? That we're struggling again. I thought last season was going to be a blip, and that's where I'm starting to doubt the level of the players' ability, because all of a sudden 3 managers have had this group and nothing's changing. So all of a sudden I'm like, maybe it isn't the manager, but I do need to see more from Pochettino. I need to see Poch prepare us to come out in the first half like we did in the second. We need to start games like that. So he obviously got it wrong tactically all week. And this is the thing, as a Chelsea manager, this is the best period to come in and make something happen. Look at Conte. He had time between games to make something happen, and we built momentum and rhythm. Right now, Pochettino isn't going to have a better time, because if we start getting back into Europe, all of a sudden it's 3-day breaks, you barely get on the training pitch, you're in recovery half the week. What's he going to do then? So I'm concerned. I don't want to see him out yet. I need to see more from Pochettino, and I think as a manager he should want to do more as well, because he needs to build up his name. He needs to show everyone in the Premier League that he isn't a bottle job like we all said he was when he was coming in and what he's done at Spurs. This guy still has a lot to prove in England, I think, and that's why Tuesday night is so important. I've said it from the beginning, that's our Champions League this season. We have to win the Carabao Cup.
That's a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable for me. I think if Chelsea have any chance if we don't do anything this season, we're going to fall off, and we will not be able to attract players. No matter how much we want to pay them, we're going to be stuck with the likes of Nicholas Jackson and players from Villarreal and players like that. And look, Jacko, honestly, he does my head in. How he's doing the fake drag back and stuff. Look, the geezer's done nothing. I know he scored, but all game long he's offside, he wanders around, he comes out here, he's giving it this. Like, he's done nothing, mate.
Maybe the asterisk when motivation kind of kicks in on him, is it?
Oh, mate, you can't even score there, so what hope have we got? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, look, I'm not sure, but non-negotiable for me. Let's go and win that Carabao Cup, and fingers crossed Newcastle put out a C team and Chelsea turn up.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, mate. Always a pleasure. Jason! Fuck's sake, let's see if he comes. I reckon now he'll come on. Jason!
Go on, Alex.
Jason, can I ask you a question? Chelsea Fan TV.
Jesus Christ.
How you doing, Jason? What did you think about what you saw?
First half was pretty difficult to commentate on.
Yeah.
Second half, I like the fact that Poch changed the game, put Sterling centrally, moved Palmer out on the right, changed it. I like the fact that Sterling picked the ball up half turn and drove it at the defence, changed the game. And that actually, managers earn their money by changing games in-game management, and Poch done that. So I'm really pleased, because first it felt a little bit like I was watching the Brentford game, a little bit like the Forest game, you know.
It's interesting you say that though, because he constantly gets criticised on this channel for lack of in-game management.
There have been times, there's a lot of this football club that it's taken a while to change, you know. There's huge change at this football club, and change takes time, especially the amount of change that's been here in the last 18 months plus. I was really impressed the way we approached. I know we're going to say Sheffield United bottom of the table, and I get that, but actually that's been our problem. Teams that play like that, sit deep, defend well organised, disciplined. I've seen this game too many times. Everton last weekend, same thing. And he changed the game, and that little change, not tactically, personnel-wise, same formation. He just moved Sterling in the centre, moved Palmer out on the right, and it changed the game. And we were good for the 3 points, but it was made our work of it again, didn't we? But we got there.
We always do. I mean,
yeah, it seems like that. Yeah.
Just on Mudryk. I mean, where do you see him going? Because for me, he's a really exciting player.
Yeah, there's a lot under the bonnet. Again, we all notice the difference. When we went 1-0 up, everyone wants the ball. All of a sudden now we're a different team, and the way that we played. Mudryk's one of those players I feel that needs a little bit of confidence. I've seen him play his game change. Is it Fulham away? I'm trying to remember the game where
scored in Fulham.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you see that energy and it goes. And that's who we are at the minute. We're a little bit low on confidence. We're a bit fragile. Get the first goal. All of a sudden everyone wants the ball, you know. And then we're moving and passing it well. I thought Palmer was brilliant. I thought Connor was excellent. I actually thought it was Casado's best game as well.
Yeah, I thought it was
really good. So, look, it's baby steps at the minute, baby steps, and you know, we move on to Tuesday, so I can't wait for that.
100%. I mean, what do you think about Enzo though? Because for me, I don't know if I've seen a great chemistry between him and Caicedo and Gallagher when they play together. They've dropped Enzo, and Caicedo's fantastic.
The problem you've got is squaring the circle. If you want to play wide men, so he went for Mudryk and Sterling, and you want to play Palmer centrally as a 10, so the maths are, where's Caicedo play? Caicedo's got to play because he's defensive midfielder. You need Connor with his energy, so where do you play Enzo? So there's the problem he has. That's why he took Enzo off against Fulham, against Everton, and he moved Palmer more centrally, and thought Palmer looked good there. So there's the problem, but it's a nice problem to have, right? So where do you play? Where do you play Enzo? I was pleased to see Enzo come off the bench actually, because I think he needs to get into this team. We've got to find a way. How do you play him? Where do you play him? But I don't think it was the wrong decision to drop Enzo or put him on the bench, because actually it showed second half it was the right call.
100%. And just to finish off, I know you want to get home, so I appreciate your time. Jackson, a lot of mixed feelings about him. I know Dan, for example, was not a fan, and I can understand why, but he does offer positives. I mean, is he the long-term solution for us?
He's 22 years of age, as is Enzo. You're talking about young men here that are 5, 6, 7 years of reaching their potential. I actually thought Jackson looked really good out wide left. I don't know what you guys thought. I was really encouraged by what I saw, and I wonder whether you might be looking at now, Poch looking at different things, because actually when he started his career he played out wide and then he eventually found himself centrally, so it might be one of them. The most encouraging thing was Nkuku on the bench. He got his, I don't know if boys noticed, he got his bib on and it looked like he was going to come off. He did, and at 0-0 we saw it, but it looked like Poch might be thinking about putting him on, then we get the goal, so don't rush him back, but fingers crossed. It's going to be, look, we've got 3 games in the league that are winnable, but this Chelsea side, you never know at the minute. But rolling on Tuesday, boys.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, mate. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Take care.
Thank you, mate.
Take care. Merry Christmas.